Have you ever thought, I should be better at English by now, just because someone on the internet sounds more fluent than you? Let me tell you something that might surprise you. The fastest way to lose confidence is to compare yourself to someone else. Hey friends, welcome to English Cactus. My name is Anna, and I'm so glad you're here. Today's episode is different. It's not just about grammar or vocabulary, it's about something deeper. We're going to talk about your heart, your pace, and how to learn without pressure. Before we begin, make sure to grab your free PDF of this lesson. It's right there in the video description. It will help you follow every word and remember the lesson more clearly. And don't forget, subscribe to the channel and leave a comment telling us where you're from. Now grab your coffee, find a quiet space, and let's begin this beautiful journey. Not toward perfection, but toward peace. Sometimes I open my phone just to relax for 5 minutes. But then, I start scrolling. I see someone posting a new job, a perfect home, or speaking English with no mistakes. And suddenly, that small voice whispers, "Why am I not there yet?" It happens so fast. 1 second I'm fine, the next I'm comparing myself. This happens to everyone, especially when we study English and feel like others are learning faster. But the truth is, comparison steals our joy. It takes away our focus and makes us forget how far we've come. When we look at other people's lives online, it's like watching a movie with only the happy scenes. You don't see the full story. You just see the highlight reel. But your life isn't a movie. It's real. It's full of ups and downs. When I started to learn English, I felt slow. I made mistakes. But I kept going. If I had stopped every time someone looked better, I would never improve. You can't grow if you're always looking sideways. You need to look forward. I used to think, if I could just be like her, speak like him, sound more fluent. But now, I've learned something important. Your path is different, and that's okay. Maybe you learn slowly, or maybe you're afraid to speak. That's normal. Everyone starts somewhere. When I study English today, I focus on my progress. I celebrate the small wins, like understanding a podcast or saying one sentence with confidence, and that small progress builds strength. The more we compare, the more we forget who we are. That's when confusion begins. You feel lost and you don't even know why. It's not because you're failing, it's because you're distracted. And distraction kills clarity. You don't need to be faster. You need to be clear. Clear about your goals. Clear about why you want to learn. Clear about your daily steps. Clarity gives you direction, and direction gives you peace. So next time that voice whispers, "Why am I not there yet?" Pause, breathe, and answer kindly. Because this is my journey. I am learning step by step. You don't need to rush. You just need to keep going. And remember, the people who grow the most are not the ones who chase speed, but the ones who stay grounded. And speaking of growth, let's talk about something that most people forget when they feel behind. Sometimes we think learning must be fast. Like if we don't speak fluently in 3 months, something is wrong with us. But that's not true. Your pace is your pace, and it's not too slow. It's not behind. It's not broken. It's yours. I've met people who speak English so well, but it took them 5 years. And I've also met people who rushed, memorized everything fast, but forgot it all later. Learning isn't a race. It's more like planting a tree. Roots go deep before branches reach high. I remember when I tried to study English every day for 1 hour. I thought that was the only way to improve. But after a few weeks, I felt tired. I didn't enjoy it. So I changed my plan. I started studying for just 15 minutes a day, but with focus. I listened. I repeated. I smiled. And guess what? I learned more. Not because I did more, but because I respected my own rhythm. Your pace is valid because it keeps you going. And going forward, even slowly, is better than quitting. Slow growth is still growth, and sometimes it's even stronger. Think about nature. Bamboo stays underground for months. Nothing shows. But one day, it grows taller than you can imagine. The same can happen with your English. Maybe you don't see big progress today, but something inside you is growing. Your understanding, your confidence, your courage to speak. Trust the roots. They matter more than speed. And you know what else I've noticed? People who study slowly often learn deeply. They listen more. They think more. They remember more. I once asked a student to explain the word patience. She said, "It's when I let myself learn without pressure." That stayed with me. So if you're learning at your own pace, that's not a weakness. It's a quiet strength. It means you're building something real, not rushing to impress others. So the next time you feel like you're behind, just ask yourself, behind who? There's no finish line. There's no rule that says you must speak like a native in 6 months. Your life is not a race. It's a rhythm. And when you respect your own rhythm, you enjoy the process. You feel peace. And you learn better. But sometimes, even knowing this, we fall into the trap of believing other people are doing better. And that brings us to something important we all need to understand about social media. I want to tell you something that changed how I see the world and how I see myself. Social media is not real life. I know we all say that, but do we really believe it? Because when I scroll and see people traveling, smiling, learning fast, or speaking perfect English, it feels real. And I start to think, why is it easy for them? But here's the truth. We are watching the best moments, the fun parts, the victories, the smiles. But what about the tears, the doubts, the mistakes? They're not on the screen. One time I saw someone post a video speaking English with confidence. She looked amazing. Her accent was clear. Her grammar was perfect. I felt a little small inside. But later, I found out she practiced that video for hours. She wrote a script, used a translator, and edited the final result. That doesn't mean she's fake. It means she's human. We all do this. We show our wins, but we hide our process. And when we forget that, we feel like failures for being real. Learning anything, including how to study English, is full of struggle. You forget words. You freeze during conversation. You get nervous. That's normal. But when you only watch perfect moments online, it makes your struggle feel bigger than it is. I used to think something was wrong with me because I wasn't smiling like everyone else. But now I know. Behind every perfect post is a person. And that person is probably struggling too. Social media teaches us how to perform, not how to grow. It tells us to be fast, be pretty, be perfect. But real learning isn't perfect. It's messy. It's full of repetition, silence, and starting over. That's why I love when people share their mistakes too. I once posted a video with wrong grammar, on purpose, just to show others that it's okay to be human. That's how we learn. Not by hiding struggle, but by walking through it with honesty. So if you're watching someone online and thinking, I wish I was like them, stop. You don't really know what they're going through. You don't see their doubts at night or the tears after class. You don't see how many times they failed before posting that video. What you see is not the full story. And that's why comparing based on social media is unfair. Not to them, but to you. And speaking of full stories, I want to tell you about a real friend of mine and what I learned from her journey. Let me tell you a story. I had a friend. Let's call her Sophia. She looked like she had everything. A great job, a happy family, perfect English, and a beautiful smile in every photo. Everyone admired her. I did too. But one day we had lunch together, and she told me something I never expected. She said, Anna, I cry almost every night. I'm tired. I feel empty. I feel like I'm just trying to look successful, not actually be happy. That moment changed how I see people forever. We often look at someone's outside and imagine their inside, but they don't always match. We think success means big results, big smiles, and no problems. But real success is more than that. It's peace. It's honesty. It's knowing who you are even when life is hard. When I study English now, I try to focus less on being perfect and more on being real. Learning isn't about performance. It's about growth. And growth is personal. Sophia's story reminded me that envy is based on illusion. We envy what we imagine, not what is real. I thought she had everything, but she was carrying a heavy heart. I thought I was behind, but maybe I was just being honest about my journey. Everyone struggles, but not everyone shares. So the next time you feel jealous of someone's success, stop and remember, you never know the full story. You might be doing better than you think. Real success doesn't always shine. Sometimes it's quiet. Sometimes it's you, sitting in your room, repeating the same English sentence again and again. Sometimes it's opening your notebook even when you feel tired. That's success too. You're learning, you're trying, you're showing up, and that matters. I always say, the strongest people are not the loudest, they are the most consistent. And now I want to shift your attention to something we often ignore, the beauty of the ordinary. The moments that don't go viral, don't get likes, and don't feel big, but still shape your life in quiet, powerful ways. Some days feel quiet. Nothing special happens. No big wins, no exciting news. But you know what? Those quiet days are powerful. I remember once waking up at 7 a.m. and sunlight was coming through my window just right. It made me pause. I took a deep breath and smiled. That moment wasn't big, but it was beautiful. And it reminded me that peace lives in the simple things. When we always look for something huge, we miss what's already in front of us. I used to think only big steps mattered, like finishing a course, getting fluent, or passing a test. But now, I celebrate the small things. Saying one English word with confidence. Writing one sentence I didn't know yesterday. These are sacred moments too. They may not seem important, but they build who you are. Every time you study English, even for 5 minutes, you're planting a seed. You don't need applause to grow. You just need intention. Ordinary moments are where most of our life happens. Making tea, sending a message, sitting quietly, reading a page. These moments shape our minds and hearts more than we realize. That's why I now try to learn during these small spaces. When I cook, I play an English audio. When I walk, I repeat a phrase. When I breathe deeply, I remind myself, you're doing enough. It's not about adding pressure. It's about seeing the beauty in what already exists. Sometimes, I think about how many magical moments we skip because they don't feel productive. But your soul doesn't need productivity. It needs presence. The smile from a stranger, the first sip of coffee, finishing a task you didn't feel like doing, these are wins too. We just don't post about them. And yet, they matter. If you can learn to value the quiet, you'll start feeling rich even without visible results. So today, look around. Is there something small and good that you've been ignoring? That tiny thing, like hearing yourself say a new English word or finishing a short video lesson, is a piece of your story. It's not just practice, it's purpose. And once you start seeing meaning in the small things, you'll stop needing big things to feel proud. But still, it's okay to feel a little lost sometimes, especially when we don't know the map or timeline we're supposed to follow. There was a time in my 20s when I thought I was behind. Everyone around me seemed to be moving forward, new jobs, weddings, houses, fluent English. And me? I felt stuck. I didn't have a map. I didn't know what the next step should be, and that made me feel lost. But now I understand. Not having a map doesn't mean you're lost. Sometimes it means you're free. Free to explore, to try, to grow in your own time. When we study English, we often ask, how long will it take? What's the fastest way? But that's like asking, how fast can I become wise? Some things take time. And not just time, they take living. You learn English while living your real life. You learn by trying, by making mistakes, by being brave. There's no perfect schedule. And that's okay. You're not a robot. You're a human being with a unique rhythm. I remember asking myself, should I be further by now? And the answer used to hurt. But now I've changed the question. I ask, am I growing today? And usually the answer is yes. Maybe it's a small word I learned. Maybe it's the fact that I didn't give up. Maybe it's showing up even when I'm tired. These are signs of growth. And they don't need a map. They need attention. If you're paying attention, you'll always know where to go next. The pressure to follow someone else's path can be heavy. You see someone speaking English fluently and you think, that's where I should be. But maybe your journey is meant to go deeper before it goes far. Maybe you're building roots, not results, and that's valuable. You don't have to reach everything now. You just have to keep learning, keep moving. Even if the road is not clear, your heart knows the direction. And when you start trusting that quiet voice inside you, something shifts. You don't need to prove anything. You don't need to rush. You just need to stay present. And funny enough, that quiet confidence, believing in your next step without needing to see the whole path, is the beginning of something powerful. Speaking of confidence, let's talk about what it really means to feel strong inside, without needing to show it to the world. Confidence used to feel like a big voice, like someone who speaks first, walks fast, and never makes mistakes. But now, I believe something different. Real confidence is quiet. It doesn't need attention. It doesn't need approval. It's the kind of strength you carry in your posture, in your breath, in your calm. When I started to study English, I thought confident people were the ones speaking all the time. But I've met quiet learners who understood more than they showed. And their silence? It was powerful. I remember one student named Daniel. He didn't say much in class, but he listened carefully. He took notes. He asked thoughtful questions. And one day he surprised everyone by giving a short speech in English. No one saw it coming. But it was clear he had been learning quietly, deeply. That's confidence too. It's not loud. It's not fast. It's steady. It grows from the inside out. Real confidence is when you keep learning, even when no one claps. It's when you make a mistake and don't hide. It's when you say, I don't know that word, without shame. When I started to feel this kind of peace, everything changed. I stopped trying to be impressive. I started trying to be honest. And honesty is what builds real connection. People don't need you to be perfect. They need you to be real. So how do you build quiet confidence? One way is by doing small, brave things every day. Repeat a sentence out loud. Study English for 10 minutes, even when you're tired. Try to speak in public, even if your voice shakes. These little acts create big strength. You begin to trust yourself, not because you're perfect, but because you show up again and again. That's how confidence grows, with practice and patience. And when you stop performing and start growing, something else begins to happen. You start hearing your own voice again, not the voices from social media, not the noise of comparison, but your own inner rhythm. And that's where real peace comes from. But to stay in that peace, there's one more step you have to take. You have to let go. There comes a moment when you realize all this, comparing, rushing, and proving, it's not helping. It's actually blocking you. It fills your head with noise. You study English, but you can't focus. You want to speak, but feel frozen. You open your notebook, but your heart feels tired. That's a sign that it's time to let go. Let go of pressure. Let go of needing to be like someone else. And return to something softer. Return inward. Return to you. I had to do that. I had to stop measuring my progress by what others were doing. I had to stop looking at the clock, thinking, I should be fluent by now. Instead, I asked myself, what feels good today? What do I need right now? And sometimes the answer was simple. A short walk, a small win, a deep breath. Letting go isn't quitting. It's choosing peace over pressure. It's choosing your truth over their timeline. When you return inward, you begin to hear your own voice again. The one that says, hey, I'm proud of you. You're learning. You're doing fine. That voice is gentle, but strong, and it helps you keep going. I started to study English in ways that felt natural, listening while I cook, repeating words while walking, not forcing it, just flowing with it. That's when learning became joyful again. No pressure, just presence. The world tells you to go faster, louder, harder, but your soul may be asking you to slow down, to listen, to breathe. And that's not weakness, it's wisdom. You can still grow, you can still succeed, but you'll do it your way, at your pace, with your heart full, not heavy. And in that space, something beautiful happens. You don't just study English, you begin to study yourself. And that kind of learning is deep, healing, and lasting. So if you've been feeling tired, or lost or not enough, this is your reminder. Come back home. Come back to your center. Let go of the noise. Return to the quiet. And remember, the most powerful things grow in silence. Speaking of which, let's take all this reflection and turn it into something even more powerful, an introduction that invites others into this journey with you. So, what if the only person you needed to impress was you? What if your progress in English didn't need to look like anyone else's? Wouldn't learning feel lighter, kinder, more real? Let me ask you, are you planting seeds today that your future self will thank you for? Are you letting your own voice speak louder than the noise around you? Are you creating moments in your day to study English, even just a few minutes? If this episode spoke to your heart, then don't just listen, live it. Slow down. Let go of comparison. Study with presence. Learn at your rhythm. And when you feel like you're behind, remember, you're not behind. You're becoming. And that is sacred. Now I want to hear from you. What part of this message do you want to carry with you today? Leave your answer in the comments. Let's grow together, with kindness and intention. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications, because we're building something beautiful here, not fast, not loud, but real.